about this love, about this, about this love, about this love.
Hey everyone, this is Sherelle and Dale,
What's up? What's up?
and we're the hosts of the About This Love podcast. And thanks for tuning in. So, this week is just a follow up of last week's episode where we were talking about, well, where Dale was talking about
Sacrificing today so you can live for tomorrow.
yeah, sacrificing today so you can live for tomorrow. And you know what? It kind of reminds me of not reminds me, but it was kind of like a follow up to what we were saying the week prior to that, just about what we were willing to give up while pursuing our dreams, pursuing our goals, things like that, and how different different responsibilities in your life, and how that priority supersedes maybe your business, but then also too, if you sit down and have that conversation with someone, how can you if you sit down and have that conversation with someone, how you can really bring it to fruition.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do you want to just give people a review on what you were saying for those who didn't hear last week's?
Well, what I would say to you is first pause this and go back and listen to the one from last week so you can get a better understanding of this week. But basically, it's just talking about just how in ways in life where we can sacrifice today so we can be able to live like no one else tomorrow. And I mean, I don't know, whatever that means different things to different people. To this person, it may mean something different, and to that person, it may mean something totally different. I know, me and my wife, we recently bought our first home, and I know for us that involved a lot of days and nights where I wasn't home because I had to work, a lot of overtime to be able to save up money to get the home that we like. So for us, the sacrifice was knowing that daddy or husband wasn't going to be home.
Daddy or husband?
To our son, his daddy. To you, his husband. I mean, you call me daddy too.
Oh gosh.
But basically, the sacrifice, for us for a short time period was that I really wasn't home a lot. And my wife and my son, I would talk to him and explain to him, why, that daddy's trying to purchase, a new home for us to be able to live in for a long time. So that involves me having to go out there and work long hours, and long days, long weeks. But, it's not going to be forever. It's only for a short time period. So for us, that was the sacrifice, was giving up our time.
Yeah, you know what? That's just like I've heard you say to him one time. He'll be like, "Oh, you're going to work? Are you going to work again? Or are you going to work?" Like it's almost like he was worried that you weren't going to be there, and he noticed that, like, he was checking in, like, "Hey, where you about to be at? Where you about to spend time at? Because
these streets,
because it's movie night and mommy about to fall asleep."
Yeah.
And I can't take another night of her falling asleep and we supposed to be watching a movie or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's real life. Oftentimes, whenever we have certain goals that we wish to accomplish, by whatever means we have in front of us to accomplish those goals, it involves a level of sacrifice. And for those who think that what I'm saying is not true, then there's probably things in your life that that you still want to accomplish that you haven't yet to accomplish because you're not willing to sacrifice, to get to that point. Anything you want to achieve in life, it involves a level of sacrifice. People like to glamour and glory over professional athletes, but there's probably a lot of times, a lot of nights, that they're not home for holidays. They're not home, for Thanksgiving, birthdays. It's a lot. Yeah, they're worth millions of dollars, but so is their time. So their time is not very short. It's probably very short when it comes, to their families. And just like I just think about athletes in general because I was thinking about during Thanksgiving week, my team plays, and oftentimes I think, man,
Who's your team, Dale?
the Cowboys. Oftentimes, oftentimes I think about, wow, those guys have to play, have to play, a football game on Thanksgiving night or day, which means they're probably not home. They're probably not being home with their spending time with their families for that specific day. But that's a sacrifice. That they signed up for.
Well, yeah, but you know what? Who I thought about was Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. I think after they had gotten married, I really don't watch basketball like that, but I know that, there's a time where they, of course, have basketball season. For you fans out there, you know better than I do. But, during basketball season, Gabrielle Union is like on the sidelines cheering him on and, doing interviews like after the game and stuff like that with him. And afterwards, I know it's crazy.
It's fake news. I think he retired.
No,
I'm not saying it's fake news.
No,
I'm saying
I said when they first got married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like how you gonna? Is he retired? I don't know.
I think he is.
I told you I'm not.
I could be wrong, but I think he retired.
I told you I don't watch basketball. But either way, what I'm saying is, from there on, I've noticed that they've done like world tours. Like I forget their like hashtag handle that they created once they got married, but they have done like
hashtag ching ching,
like, ching ching. Shut up. No, but they did like they toured a couple of countries, for a span of maybe 3 months or so, or maybe a month. They took off time to spend that time together, and I think that's the payoff. But a lot of times, people who are the average Joe Smo, they don't they don't ever go back and say, this is, I've worked these long hours to show you this and that, or I've missed this, so now you can have that. And I think we got to look at the priorities of what we are sacrificing. I know in last week's episode you did talk about what type of life do you want to live, and so if we're talking about anything business or financially, we're sacrificing this so we can start our business. We're sacrificing a vacation so we can start our business, or we're sacrificing, what else would you sacrifice? Time spent with your wife and children, to go and pursue a job or a career for a short period of time. Like there has to be that end date. And
yeah.
Because
because it can go on forever. Especially when you get used to the money, you be like, oh man, I do this forever. It's like there has to be a point where you like, I accomplished what I had to accomplish. A, B, C, and D. Now it's back to reality.
Oh yeah, I got a song for everything. I was about to sing that song. I said, "Back to life." I'm sorry. I'm not a singer, but that song just popped up in my head. But what you were saying was, what's the life that you want to live, and are you willing to? The tone that you took that I got from last week was, what's the lifestyle that you want to live? Like, are you being trans financial? You hear all these like people talking about how
trans financial, was that something new?
Nah, it's not new. It's a it's a social media joke. But you're not on social media like that, right? So you wouldn't know. You're not hip. You're not cool, Dale.
What's it mean?
Basically, you know how people are talking about like the transgender community and how, basically it was like a rebuttal to that. Like, oh, well, since you want to be transgender, or since you feel that you're born in the wrong body, well, hey, I'm born in the wrong financial tax bracket, or I'm born in
okay.
Yeah. So that's basically what I got from the joke, was basically like, I was born in the wrong life financially. And so I want to live like I'm this millionaire, but really I'm born in this in this like poor person's body and lifestyle. And so, that's being trans financial.
I thought you were I thought you were talking about like transforming your financial standings or something like that.
Nah. No, it was very, it's a very, I guess, shallow in a sense, or very ignorant, kind of hashtag or comment,
Wow.
so to speak. Yeah. But no, that's what I think about. It's just, what type of lifestyle you want to live. And I know that for us, and I know you spoke about it, for us, the sacrifices that we've made, sitting down, talking about our budget, sitting down, talking about, okay, hey, let's revisit. Like there was, an increase in pay. So what are we going to cut back and what are we going to add to? Or, where can we kind of like pinch pennies a little bit? I know people who have children expectedly and unexpectedly. Oh my gosh, there was this couple who they have 6 children currently, and the wife is a financial advisor, or she talks a lot about finances and organization.
At in the age of social media, you can be whatever you want to be. You can be a life coach,
No,
financial advisor.
I mean, no,
you can
she
be an
truly is. That's
NFL coach.
You know what? You know what? Bye. Goodbye. Go take a nap. Goodbye. So she but she made a career off of like advising people about finances and about budgeting and about time.
No, I'm joking. I was just being sarcastic. But I mean, if you've lived out that reality, then it is very practical that you could advise people about what you've done practically. Yes, of course. But as far as, like being a financial expert, somebody who went to school, I wouldn't say that that's what we are, and neither would I say that that's what they are. But you can always give somebody advice based on your personal experience and the experiences that you've had from just being very practical. So which is what we do. We give advice or we give encouragement based off things that we've done, things that we've had to go through, and it's just very practical. If you want to, you can do it. If you don't want to, you don't have to do it.
Well, yeah, but so this lady, she said that she was, she's a mom of 6, and her and her husband plan to have 7, have another one. So she budgeted for 7, right? But then they just found out that they were pregnant with twins. And it was like, oh my gosh. And so, I looked at it as like, oh snap, oh my God. It starts off as, oh my gosh, this is such a blessing. But then it's like, oh, it's twins. Like, well, I can't give them back now, Lord. They're already brewing, they're already baking in the oven. So what do we do? And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, we planned for it, but now it's like, okay, let's embrace the blessing, and then let's move forward on what we can do. And I think the rest, I mean, yes, you can sacrifice, but I think, we need to also take the time to submit our plans to the Lord.
Yeah.
Because we can sacrifice and kind of lose our way. But I feel like just having that discipline, not getting away from what you said, but having that discipline to begin with, I think a lot of people lack that. I know there's been times where, prime example, you wanted to read books with me. You wanted us to read books together and come back and talk about it. But I think on my part, because I read differently than the way that you read, you can sit down on the iPad and read a book, in your free time at work. And I have to actually hold the book, and you're like, well, I emailed it to you. You ain't read it yet. Well, I'm on chapter 4. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like I'm not disciplined in that way to sit down and kind of read the book on the iPad, but then also being realistic, like, hey, this is something, like, I want to honor you. This is something that, you really want us to do together. And so I need to actually make the time, to sit and read it. But I think, like, just recently, another book has come up for us to read together. Actually, 2 books. And I've requested that we get the hard copy of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, being realistic with what you're sacrificing and how you're sacrificing, because is that something you can realistically grasp? Because if not, then I don't think that you can live that lifestyle. And not to say that, no, I can't, I just can't do this. I can't, keep up with you in reading. And it's like, well, in the same way that I feel like people learn differently, they receive information differently. I think that, looking at someone else's life, I think it could be a good starting point for those who don't have anyone to look to. But I also think that being realistic about like who you are, and it's like, okay, well, I like to live a certain way. You know, I like to shop a lot, or I like to travel a lot. So what are things that I can't have? Maybe I can't have a luxury car because I like to travel, because that maintenance on the car is going to take away from, my travel expenses, or run up my credit card debt kind of thing.
Yeah, or maybe it might mean not living in that nice house, that you've seen, that you probably can afford, but you probably just to kind of have the extra money for somewhere else. You don't want to buy that specific house or rent that specific apartment. That's one of the big things for me and my wife is that we had the capital to buy something that cost way more than what we bought, but we didn't want to pay out that kind of money, even though we had it, because we could always put it somewhere else, or put it into a new car, or put it into a savings account, so have it something else, and oftentimes I think people, I'm not saying people don't think about it, but they don't really consider the long-term longevity of a thing. Like, on the other day, we were looking at cars, and my wife, I told her, the guy asked us, why couldn't you guys just take it home today?
With no money down.
And then he walked in the back, and my wife, I said, that really pisses me off when they do that. I said, I know they're just trying to sell a car. Like, I understand that. Like, that's their job. They don't care whether or not you can afford it or not. They're just trying to get a sale. But from my perspective as a consumer, it's like you're trying to sell me something. Do you even know if I can even afford that or not? Now, again, I understand that is the least of your concern. You could care less. As long as I buy the car today, you get your little commission. Hey, if you can afford it or not, we don't really care. But I think that more so approaching it from the perspective of the consumer or the buyer, can you really afford that? What if something comes up in the near future that costs you a couple $100, and you could have had it if you just kept the old car that ran all right, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't new, and I think that right now, we're driving a car that runs okay, but yes, we do want something new. And we've been looking, but we're not like, we gonna buy it right now today. Nah, we kind of like, we'll get it whenever we get it. But we are looking and doing our research, but until then we can drive what we have, it's fine. It gets us to point A to point B. Nothing wrong with it. No point in going out there having to spend a couple $100 a month in a car note if I don't have to.
For something that's just shiny.
Yeah, exactly. Something that's just shiny,
Yeah. Well, also.
And newer.
Well, that reminds me of people who are house poor. So I know the biggest thing that's been going on social media.
I met a lot of those people who are house poor. I'm just saying, like, it's.
Oh gosh, Dale.
To me, I don't know. I guess my mind processes things differently. It's like I don't know why people buy this big house to impress somebody. It's like, well, who coming to your house? Anybody coming to my house?
Oh my gosh!
Why'd you get it for then?
No,
you don't come to your house.
What grinds my gears is the freaking.
Who says that?
What, I don't know who says it. I don't know. I say it. But what really?
That's what a cartoon I should watch. What grinds my gears?
No, I don't think so. I hope he don't watch that cartoon. I don't. No. Anyways, no, but it really does grind. It grinds my gears when I'm watching HGTV. That's like my favorite channel of all time.
House Hunters.
Yep, and you see this young couple on House Hunters, and they're like, "Oh yeah, so we need something that's like $1 million, because we need room for entertaining." And I'm like, well, what job do y'all have where y'all can afford a house like that and you need room for entertaining? Because are these people going to come? Does your company come and live with you? Will they be, cleaning that house? That was the biggest thing with us looking at homes. I was just kind of like, who's going to clean it? I mean, like, who's going to clean it?
You and the dog can clean that junk. I'm joking.
But being realistic is just like, who's going to clean it? And also, too, like buying a house for things that we don't have. Like, okay, well, we may have 5 more kids. We may have 5 more kids. And so that's why we need like 8 bedrooms. And it's just kind of like, you know what? I grew up with me and my sister in a 2-bedroom before my younger sister was born, in a 2-bedroom condo, and we lived like that even after she was born. And it was just kind of like we was cool with bunk beds. Like, why does every child have to have their own room? Or why unless there was an age difference, and even then, other cultures,
Or sex difference.
Yeah, gender difference. I mean, either way, I believe that it has to be realistic for your family, realistic for your budget, in the lifestyle that you want to live. It's just kind of like, okay, well, today I probably don't need to go on that, $300 shopping spree. They have like $500 shopping hauls on YouTube. Like, oh, this is what I bought from this company for X amount of dollars. And I'm like, well, first of all, are they sponsored? This is so not sponsored. Okay, so that means they're spending their own money. But do they let you know that they're returning all of that stuff? And how much money are they actually getting back from those returns? But yet you want to feel like, you can go out and just ball out just to say that, oh, I spent this amount of money. I remember one time a friend and I were shopping for handbags. And it was so crazy because she was trying to tell me like, oh, yeah, we went into the Michael Kors store. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to allow you to get that bag. She said, I'm going to allow you to get that bag. And I'm looking and I'm just like, I mean, I like the bag because I like the bag. But I know me, like, if I'm gonna feel like I can't wear this bag because it's so expensive, it's like almost one of those things where you're buying something that's so expensive that you spent your hard-earned money for, where you don't even want to wear it. You just want to look at it. And it's like, nah, I need something every day that I can beat up. And if it fall apart, it fall apart. And I mean, there's quality pieces that I do have, but no, like, you're not going to allow me to spend my hard-earned money on a handbag.
So your friend, she was allowing you to spend your money. Just make sure I understand. I'm following what she's saying.
I said that. Yeah.
She was allowing you to spend your money?
That's what she said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she said, I will allow you to get this bag. And really, the crazy part about it was, I'm just like, well, I really didn't like that style. I mean, that was her style. That was her personal preference. Okay, cool. I went in there at first, like, if I'm honest, I went in there with the mindset of like, you know what, this is the popular bag. This is a popular brand. At the time, I was like, I don't know, like 22 or something or so. And I was like, yeah, this is a popular brand. I should get it. I had the money in my pocket to get it. But then it's like, do I really want to spend that money right now? And mind you, I had my own place. I had my own bills. You know what I'm saying? And, I had to look at her lifestyle, and there was nothing wrong with her lifestyle, but she lived at home. She didn't have any bills other than, like, I guess, whatever.
Car note.
No, I don't even think she had a car note. But at that time, I don't think she had a car note. I think it was just, whatever debt that she created as far as student loans or something like that. But other than that, no. And so I had to stop myself and be like, you know what? And there's been plenty of times when I was in beauty school, there's plenty of times where I got laughed at for making peanut butter jelly sandwiches. No, for real. I didn't care. Them Bambas was eating out, and then they were coming back in around lunchtime with like their fancy restaurant food. And they were like, ooh, girl, you eating a peanut butter jelly sandwich? And I'm just like, yep. But I had my own place. And not to say that made me better, but it's just like.
But you felt that way. You felt that made you better.
No,
I'm joking.
Yeah, I felt better. I felt better. I got my own place though. You at home with mommy and daddy, even though you're not struggling. Look, you're not.
I wish I could be at home with mommy and daddy right now.
I was about to say.
That's true.
Even though you ain't struggling, you can eat good. You don't gotta worry about lights being off because you forgot to pay rent or you forgot to pay a light bill. Just some of the things that really make you responsible. And I mean, I'm thankful for the experience, but I will say those who have the luxury of staying at home, which at the time I didn't have the luxury. My family they were losing their house to foreclosure, and I had a child. And so it was like, well, I got to do what's best for me and my child. And
what's unfortunate and not unfortunate, but what's unfortunate is 9 times out of 10, those who actually are at home with mom and dad probably don't have the discipline to even think of saving, for when they are out on their own. Now, I'm not saying everybody, because I don't want people to be like, that's not true. I'm doing my
Well, you
mom
said
and dad.
9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So
I'm not saying that everybody, but I'm just saying, like, it's just sad that, a lot of, oftentimes people don't, like, I knew a few guys at my job who were younger than me, and they stayed at home with their mom and dad, and they were actually, people were laughing at them because they were like top high positions in the company, and they lived at home with mom and dad. But guess what? When they got out and got to my house, they paid for it cash money. So they didn't have no mortgage or nothing. And
wow.
the same people that laugh then are like, wow, now, because it's like, again, it's when you are in those kind of positions, or in the position to live at home with mom and dad, or a grandma, uncle, and aunt, are you sacrificing today so you can live tomorrow? Because that is a testimony. Like, for you to be 25, 26 years old, and you was living at home with mom and dad, making like 70, 80 grand a year at your job, living at home with mom and dad, and you come out in 2 years to buy you a house and pay for it cash money and have no mortgage, that is a testimony to have. It was like, how many people can say that? Seriously, how many people can say, I lived at home with my mom and dad after college for 2-3 years. Now I bought my house cash money.
Well, you know what? But let's not get it twisted. There are people who live at home with mom and dad, and they have absolutely no plans, no vision, no goal.
But we ain't talking about them.
We ain't talking about them.
We ain't talking about them. So that as of this episode, they're irrelevant. Maybe we'll get to them on a later episode.
I mean, you have to acknowledge that, though. I think that that plays into what's the vision for your life. Like, even if you have the opportunity to still stay at home, and even if you have the opportunity, you have the chance to step out at an early age, and really start to become responsible for yourself earlier, in life. It's like, you still need to have vision, because then it's kind of like, well, I'm just working this job. I'm just, I'm just working this job, trying to get by, living paycheck to paycheck. Like, one thing I've been seeing a lot of people say is, yay, I paid rent this month, so now I can sit at home and be broke or whatever. I can sit at home and starve. And I'm just like, is that what it is? Or is it that you didn't calculate or you didn't budget your finances properly, where, like we were saying earlier, you didn't get a feasible apartment, or you're paying this ridiculous car note, things like that.
No, I mean, not only that, but oftentimes, like, and again, I'm just saying this from what I know from people, what I know from personal experiences or personal encounters with people that I know, is that oftentimes, like, when you talk about people sitting at home being broke, it's like, well, sometimes, like, people, and I have to omit people who have children, because they coach have that they can't work 2 jobs. But it's like, if you were single and you just at home after you pay all your bills broke, you probably need to get you another job. I'm not saying a different job. I'm saying, like, get a second job, because I know on Amazon got a job now. You can work from home. All you need is a laptop and a cell phone. So it's like, if I'm paying my rent and or mortgage and car note, and I'm broke, I'm getting me a second job. I'm sorry.
Wait, so are you saying that, okay, so instead of getting the latest of the IKEA furniture to, like, furnish your apartment, if you don't have kids, then you could sleep on that air mattress. I know someone.
That's what I did. I did that dream.
Well,
my first year in my apartment.
Anything wrong with it?
Some air mattress.
I'm
no shade in my game.
Look, why? Exactly, because, like, who coming over? Who you trying to impress? You just need a roof over your head, right?
I had a kitchen table, though. I had a kitchen table.
Did you have pots and pans where you cooking?
Yeah, I had all that stuff.
Okay. Well, I guess you didn't.
I just didn't see a need. I didn't see a need for. It's funny.
Dale, if I'm honest, when we first got married, you didn't see a need for a lot of stuff. You was like, we don't need that. I'm just like, dude, you have a wife and child now. Like, nah, we need that. Remember when you were going to put the treadmill in the kitchen? I'm sorry, Dale.
I don't recall that. You had the wrong person. You had the wrong person.
Hold on, let me call up a few. Let me call up a few people. He's like, nah, I can work out in the kitchen. But you know what? Honestly, he could have. It would have saved $10 on a gym membership. You know what I'm saying? Like, if need be, because I had a treadmill in my previous apartment, and he was going to put that thing.
That's
in the
$120. That's $120 a year.
Thing in the kitchen. I mean, but you talk about sacrificing a lifestyle. You never know. That could have been. I don't know. That could have been towards a payment towards something. I think we lived in our first apartment. We paid like a couple $100s, and people were like
$750 to be exact.
$750.
I'm like, couple hundred. Couple hundred is like $300 now. When you pay that,
nowadays, like, okay, you're right. I mean, but we not back in the Martin and Gina times where they was like, oh, I owe somebody $1,000, and that was like the end all be all because that was a lot of money.
I mean, if you don't have $1,000 now, it's a lot of money.
No, it is a lot of money. You're right. It is a lot of money. But I'm just saying how times are different from then to now. I had a client who, she's probably in her 60s now, but she was telling me how she started off doing hair. She doesn't do hair anymore, but she had started off when she was about like early 20s when she was my client. She was like, yeah, I started off in my early 20s doing hair. I got myself a first apartment, and my rent was so expensive. It was $65. And I was like, $65? Like, ma'am, you're showing your age.
Yeah.
Where was you living?
Gas was $1.19.
Nah, that's still too high, deal. Because I don't think gas was $1 like
19 when I was a kid. I was being sarcastic.
Yeah, gas was like
12 cents.
Exactly.
Like, what year were you born? 1912.
Well, anyway, but yeah. So I mean, but it's just interesting to see the difference or the things that they thought was expensive back then versus now, and but yeah, just. Oh, I did want to get into something else, but I think that'll have to wait until another podcast.
Yeah.
Just as far as finances, just things to think about, because I know you left our listeners with some questions, just to really think about, to ponder on. But one thing I wanted to leave them with was, financially, when you may have a little bit extra, would you take on the responsibility of supporting maybe family, supporting, as far as not your immediate family, but would you support family with what you have extra? I think that's something to really think about, I know that conversation has come up in our marriage from the beginning about supporting certain ones in our family. And then also, how we can, like, whether to do it, whether not to do it, but the conversation just keeps reoccurring. And so, I just want to continue on the conversation, even though time has run out on this podcast. We can continue it on Facebook at About This Love, and on Instagram at About This Love. In the comment section, we are really active on those two platforms. So definitely, leave a comment below what your thoughts are, if you support your family, or what are the things that you're sacrificing in your life today so that you can live a totally different life tomorrow.
Yeah. And please share our audio content with your friends and family, and definitely help support the podcast just by sharing and watching.
Sharing, watching, listening, commenting, liking. We're thankful for all of the support.
So until next time, peace.